Jamie and I are so glad you've joined us year in and year out to talk about writing and publishing. If you've gotten value from the podcast and you'd like to return the favor, you can show your support by becoming a subscriber. We'll give you a shout out on a future episode. Go to wishidknownforwriters.com/support to learn more. Now let's get on with the episode.
Welcome to the Wish I'd Known Then podcast, where we focus on how authors found success, looking at strategies that have taken them to the top of the bestseller charts, as well as what they've learned from their mistakes. Because being an indie author is more than knowing the latest marketing trend. It's about being innovative and creative and learning from your mistakes.
Welcome to the Wish I'd Known Then podcast. I'm Sarah Rosette.
And I'm Jamie Albright. And this week on the show we have
Ines Johnson.
Yes, we do. She's back.
Yes.
And it is a great episode. Ines has a new course, Page Turning Pacing. And it really takes all of her knowledge as a TV
screenwriter,
TV scriptwriter and pacing and everything, and puts it in one package for everybody. And it's just a great course. It's a great course. Sarah and I have been able to go in and look at it, and really
so
awesome
about the course. And this episode is much more. Well, we do talk about direct sales.
Yeah, we do talk about direct sales, which is amazing.
Yeah, she has some great tips and ideas. And then we do talk, it's a quite craft heavy episode about like how to get better at pacing your books and stuff. So really good. And, she's just fun to talk to, and self-care about how she, and specific ideas about how to do some self-care for yourself. Yeah. And so lots and lots of fun. So
grab the sugar scrub.
That's right. So we have some new supporters this week.
Yes, we do, guys. Thank you so much. Tim Culp, he has the rocket ship. Thank you, Tim. I just responded to a message, or a post comment that he made. And Bethany Surya. Oh, shoot. Bethany.
Surya, possibly?
Surya. Yeah. Bethany Surya. Oh, girl. I'm so sorry. And she has the Scales of Justice. I hope that means she's not coming after me, but maybe that means she writes thrillers. I don't know.
Could be. That's kind of what I thought too.
Yeah.
And Tara Brinkley, and she chose the tent emoji. Mm-hmm. And then we have Stanley B. Trice with the rocket ship.
Yeah, I love that.
Thank you, everybody.
We appreciate it so much.
And if you want to support the podcast, if you've received value and want to support us, then you can find the link for that at wishidknownforwriters.com/support.
Yeah. And if any of our supporters have had trouble getting the bonus episode that we did, please drop us a note or a DM or something, and we'll help you with that. Yeah. Probably Sarah is better than me, but I'll do my best.
Well, I thought we should say here, like if you do sign up, we do have one episode right now that's like locked until you're a supporter. Yeah. And to get to that, you should receive an email with your own private RSS feed from Buzzsprout. So if you didn't receive that and you can't find it, then email support@buzzsprout.com. And I'll put that link in the show notes. And it's in the group, in the Facebook group. But I thought we should talk about that because obviously some of those emails are not getting through.
Yeah, they may be going to spam or something. Yeah. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
So tell us what's been going on with you this week.
Well, I have been, speaking of Buzzsprout, I found a new podcast to listen to. It's very much about podcasting. It's called Buzzcast. It's by the host company that we're using. And it is just so funny to me. It's so interesting. It's kind of very much inside baseball about podcasting. And coming to it as a writer, it's very funny because it's almost like it's a negative and inverse. Like if you look at the writing world thing and then you look at the podcasting world thing, they're talking about a lot of the same things, but they have completely different views. Like, how writers feel like Spotify is awesome, diversifying the book, marketplace. Podcasters don't quite feel, the independent podcasters don't quite feel the same way about Spotify. they kind of feel like we do about Amazon, about Spotify. Like it's the big gorilla in the room. So it's just very interesting to listen to that. So if anybody's into podcasting, that's a fun podcast to listen to. And the other thing I was going to tell you is totally unrelated. Did you see that Ted Lasso season 3 is coming out? Yep.
I just saw a TikTok video, and it was the trailer from the the preview trailer. So I'll post it in the group because I just love it. I mean, I was a little worried because last year ended on kind of a
downer ending a little bit.
But it looks like it's coming back up, and I love that. So yeah.
So I knew that would be exciting to you. So I'm looking forward to it.
I'm very excited.
And we talked a long time ago about doing an episode about Ted Lasso, like talking about the storytelling in Ted Lasso. So maybe that.
Yeah, that'd be great. I don't
know if we maybe want to wait until the whole
let's wait.
season is out, but
anyway. I love that show. So good.
It's so interesting. I thought we could talk about why it's so compelling to us as viewers. And maybe we could use Inez's tips and break it down.
Break it down. She's probably going to do that herself. Yeah.
So what about you? What's going on with you this week?
Not much. Let's talk about Let's talk about Inez. No, there's not much. I've watched a few shows. Will Trent. I love that show. It's on Hulu. Well, it's actually on ABC, but you can watch it on Hulu. Yeah. It's actually, to me, so very compelling, and I think it's very of course, it's a police procedural kind of show, but it is very character driven, and anyway, the characters are just super compelling, and it doesn't have a huge cast of characters, which I like that. But it's just a really good show. And so I've been watching that. And then I've watched several documentaries on the Murdoch trials, which is probably not good for my mental health, but I still am doing it. I've had, I was doing really well. I've told y'all that, but this week's been kind of tricky and hard. I don't know why, but I'm still just putting one foot in front of the other. And, people have been really supportive and have sent some good insights about grief and about just this journey. And I think, if I'm honest, I really wanted to speed it up because, it sucks, but can't really speed it up. It just is what it is. And it comes when it comes. And, and one thing I didn't really tell everybody that has kind of played a part in some of this is that my husband was laid off in January from a job that he'd been at for 30 years. So it all has worked out. It's going to be fine and great. He has a new job. He started today. But, that's kind of one of those stressors they talk about.
Yeah. As if y'all didn't have enough stress already.
Yeah, that's kind of been hanging. So, anyway, but I'm fine. And, spent week and a half, something like that with the grandkids. So I'm exhausted, but also
probably still recovering from that, right?
Super fun. Yeah. Super fun.
Did you go to the book event in Dallas?
I did. I went to the book signing, Holiday with the Bells. Did a book signing. And so I went just as a fan participant. Somebody had an extra ticket and gave it to me. So that was great to get to see, Maria Lewis and Heather Orgeron and KK Allen and some other people that I really like. And Becca Mysore was there. She's actually the one that gave me my ticket. And so that was good. It was good to see them and see readers. And so that was exciting. I have a signing at the end of this month, into March, in Baltimore that I'm going to. So that'll be fun. And then we have kind of an Uncon conference that we go to in Austin in March. So I'm looking forward to that. So those things fill my well.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think you and I are also going to be at InkersCon.
Yes, we are.
June, right?
In June.
In Dallas.
Mm-hmm. In Dallas.
And anything, but we'll be there.
Yeah, we're not speaking. We're just going to be there as just soaking it all in and getting the good information. And we'd love to see listeners there.
Yeah, maybe we should start a thread in the group.
Yeah,
if you're there, let us know, and we'll plan something. We'll get together and do something.
We did a breakfast last year. That was super fun, but it was kind of last minute. So maybe we can come up with something.
We can plan better this time.
Yeah. But anyway, so that's what's going on with me. Not much.
All right. Well, let's go to Ines and see what else she has to say, because she's got such good tips and ideas.
Yeah, she's so stinking smart. Yeah, she really is. So I know you're going to love it. We'll see y'all next week.
Yep. Here's Ines. Today, we're really excited to welcome back Ines Johnson. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic.
Oh, we're so happy you're here. Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for having me back.
Yeah, you're here for a very good reason, too.
Yes, we're going to talk about a lot of craft stuff today, so we're excited. Yeah. All right, so let me read your bio. Aside from being the author of over 80 books in 9 years, Ines Johnson is a seasoned educator. For over 15 years, she taught college-level classes in screenwriting, story development, and media history. A lifelong learner, read academic addict, she holds a master's in instructional design and a doctorate in educational technology. She is constantly taking courses on the latest digital marketing techniques, reading how-to books, and keeping her skills at the cutting edge, so you don't have to.
That's me.
So I have to ask real quickly, are you high input? Have you done your strengths?
I'm not. Wait, hang on. I actually have to turn around and look because I can't remember them. No. Input is not in my top 5.
Learner?
I can only remember my top 2. I'm number 2 achiever.
Yes.
And number 1 discipline.
Oh my goodness.
Never
Great
met
combo.
Another high discipline.
I think I'm number 33 or 58, however many strengths there are beyond that discipline. Yeah.
I do have discipline in my top 5.
Oh, I hate you both.
Top 5.
What's that?
You both.
I have
learner. Yeah. I could kind of see that.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Oh, that's so fun.
Oh, that's funny. Well, give us a quick update on what's happened since you were last on the podcast in December of 2021. I can't believe it's been that long.
Yeah, it has been long. And, it's kind of a blur for all of us the last couple of years.
Yes.
But I'll tell you what. So in the last couple of years, I released a lot of books.
Yes.
Obviously, yeah.
But I've also really focused on consistently refilling the well. I was having a chat with, every morning I get up at 8:00 a.m. every weekday morning. And I write with my college roommate, who is award-winning novelist, fantasy romance novelist, Leslie Penelope. Yes. And I am someone that I feel very uncomfortable taking scheduled breaks. It makes me very uncomfortable, and I'm just itching to get back to it. And what I've found works for me is taking time off every day to refill the well. And that just works so well for me. But we were having this conversation about there's something that shows that there are people who just need to have their creativity refilled every day. There's some people who just need to take a nap in the middle of the day in order to feel rest. that you change.
I'm waving my nap flag or my blankie, as I call it.
So I realized that I'm that person, and I've embraced it, because I tell you, after what we all just went through for the last couple of years, my life is really about decreasing my anxiety so that I can make more space for joy and for serenity. So I've embraced, every day I have you guys know I'm a planner babe. So every day I have the chapters that I need to write, because I don't write by word count, I write by chapters. And right underneath that, I have the activity that I'm going to do to play, to be creative, to refill that well every single day.
That's great. That's great.
That's fantastic. I love that you actually calendar that, you put that in. I think that's fantastic.
Because then of course. I'm a sucker for it.
That's fantastic.
I love that.
Yeah.
So would you say that's the most important lesson you've learned recently is to do that, or do you have something else that you've
personal lesson? Yes, that's the most personal lesson, that being very intentional about refilling my well. Business wise, the best thing that I have learned, the best thing that I've done for myself is direct sales.
Love that.
Tell us more about that, because people are curious about that.
Okay. I am an unapologetic control freak, in case you haven't noticed. And what direct sales has done for me, it's giving me that data, that clean, unfiltered data immediately straight to me. Because when we're advertising on Facebook and we're sending traffic to the other retailers, we're not getting that information. We're not getting that information. We're not getting that money immediately either. So, and we're not necessarily touching our readers directly, and direct gives you that. It gives you the ability to run sales without having to go into a promo dashboard and beg to price match things. When someone signs up to purchase your book, you get their data immediately. You get the sale immediately, or however you set up for your payments to go. But then you're this is a good thing and a bad thing. You're also your own customer service.
Yes.
It could be a bad thing, but I've really chosen to embrace it. And whenever there's a problem, and there are problems, I can have a conversation with the person, and 9 times out of 10, I make a fan for life just by speaking directly to that person, helping them to solve their problem. And even if they're like, because I'm selling a lot of ebooks, and a lot of times these are brand new people who have not heard of me before. For some reason, they're not on Amazon, they're not on Nook, but they're chilling out on Facebook and on the social platforms. And when they see my ad for my books, they might not realize that it's an ebook. And I have my ebooks up, I have my print books up. I have not done my audiobooks yet, because that's tomorrow's problem. But they'll look at the graphic, which clearly to me says this is an ebook, because there's no pages. And they're like, they think that they're getting an ebook for a print book for a really, really cheap deal. So there are times when people are like, I don't understand how to use this ebook. I would like a refund, please. And we have we have a conversation, because I absolutely will give them a refund. But I convert them to a fan because we have a conversation, and I can say to them, the print book is available too. Or, if you're not open to buying the print book, my books are in libraries, or you can order my books from Barnes and Noble. You can order the paperback from Barnes and Noble. So I get to have that conversation and retain them. So I love direct. It's fantastic.
Right. Yeah. I think we should probably point out for our listeners who are not as experienced or in indie publishing, you are wide, which means your books are on all the platforms, correct?
I am wide, which means my ebooks are on all the platforms. If you are enrolled in Kindle Unlimited, your English language ebook it's in Amazon's house, period. It can't go out and visit with other friends.
Correct.
But if you are in Kindle Unlimited, your print book can go and play with whomever you want. There's no exclusivity.
Right.
And a lot of these people that I'm encountering want print.
Yeah. Well, and I just wanted to make that distinction for our listeners who maybe aren't as versed in that, because that's a big thing. Yeah. If your books are in KU, your ebook cannot be sold anywhere else. But that print book is fair game. You can sell that wherever you want to.
So. And your audiobook as well.
And audio, unless you're exclusive with ACX.
Yeah. So I know people will be curious. How are you finding these new people that haven't heard you before? Is it ads with Facebook, or how are you doing that?
Facebook ads. Because that is something that clicked for me. That's something that I feel that I'm good at. And I don't know why, because I'm sending them pretty much to the same Facebook audiences, but I'm getting much more interaction. I'm getting much more return on investment from direct. Don't ask me. Well, the only reason that I could potentially think why is because when we're taught to do Facebook ads by, the gurus of the writing gurus in our community, we're taught to use the traffic ads.
Mm-hmm.
And I was taught, when I started to do direct, I was taught to switch that over to the purchase or the sales ads.
Mm-hmm.
And the difference between from what I'm told and what I've seen, the difference between the purchase and the purchase and the traffic ads is that Facebook knows that those are the people that are not only going to just click to see more about the ad, they're the people who are going to come out of pocket. And I'm getting people coming out of pocket and buying these books. I should also point out that what I'm choosing to do is I'm choosing to do bundles. So I have over 80 books. I haven't counted in the last 2 years, so I'm probably near 100. I haven't counted. It's too much math. So I'm able to bundle up books. So I will put books in bundles, and I will sell those bundles in e and in print. And that I feel like that bundle is very attractive because today we like to binge. So I can say binge the whole series or try out the first in series of all these different books. So I can do things like that. And I feel like I'm getting a lot of people who just want the complete collection.
Right. Yeah.
And they will put their money down for it.
Yeah. Are you doing a discount for your bundles?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I can, because again, so let's say, so my books are $3.99 each. And so if I'm selling all 6 of a books I usually, for some reason, I like 6s, and I'm selling all 6 books in a particular series. It's like, oh gosh, what's the math? $24. That's about $24. And then, but if I couldn't do that on Amazon and make, I would make the 70% profit off of each book, right?
Right. Yeah.
But if I do that direct, and I'm getting all the money except for 5%, which is basically the processing fees, I can sell those books at a discount and still make more money than what I was doing on Amazon. So yes. Yeah. So I show them the Amazon price, and I tell them, hey, because you're buying direct from the author, you're buying from the artist. I'm going to make out, you're going to make out, let's be friends. Let's read some books together.
Yeah. Right. Awesome. And then are you using Book Funnel for the print, or how are you doing the print?
Okay.
Because that's a question for me. That's a hurdle for me.
Book Funnel first. So with the ebooks and Book Funnel, so I use Shopify. I have friends that use Samcart. I have friends that use WooCommerce. But I like Shopify. It just made sense to my brain. So I go from Shopify to Book for the payment.
Ebook.
For the ebook payment. And then Book Funnel will deliver the book. It's so simple to set this stuff up. It's a lot of work, but it is simple. And both Shopify and Book Funnel have tutorials on how to do this on their sites. And they hold hand walk you through it. So that's simple. And then Shopify collects the payments. Bam, Book Funnel delivers it. For print, books are still up on Shopify. And you can go to places for fulfillment. You can go to places like Book Vault and Lulu.
Yes. Yeah.
But for me, I was looking at that profit margin and I was like, I could set this up. Actually, so I looked at that profit margin. I was like, okay, fine, I could do this. But when I was first starting with print, I ran a promotion just to my newsletter. I bundle, because my books are my sweet books, because I write as Ines Johnson, I write steamier stuff, and I write as Ines Johnson, I write the sweet romance. And those books are usually 30,000 words. And I was able to fit all 6 books in a 30,000 word omnibus.
Oh.
Yes. And I could have just done this with each book individually, but I did this specifically for my readers. I bundled that up. And I offer them, hey, 6 books for pretty much half price, or get the print pretty much half price. And I'm still making a killing. And I bundled that up, and my readers loved it. And so I was thinking, let me put this on my Shopify store and see how it goes. And those brand new readers loved it. So that's working out for me. So since I had ordered a bunch just to sign and send out to my readers, and I learned Pirate Ship, which is
Pirate Ship is wonderful. Yeah.
Tell us what it is, because I don't know.
It's basically having the post office on your computer and your at-home printer. It's so freaking simple. You basically buy labels. You can buy the postage. You can print it from your printer, slap it on the package, drop it off at the post office. And some of us still have like the post boxes where you can just drive by and drop. so crazy simple. You don't have to wait in a line or anything. So I was doing that with my readers, and I thought, this is so simple. And so I just kept ordering more books. I put it up on my Shopify store, and I just kept ordering more of the omnibuses, keeping them off to the side. If you could see the rest of my office, I kept them off to the side, and I'm selling a couple a day. And I only have a $50 a day Facebook ad going. So I'm selling maybe 5 ebook bundles of the ebooks, and maybe 2 of the print books, just for that one series. And that is making it worth my while. Take a couple of minutes each morning, print out the labels, package them up, and then the post office is literally 2 blocks away from me. I can drop it in the mail. That's making me really nice money that comes into my bank account the next day,
which is awesome.
Super awesome.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm so happy it's working for you. It's great to hear.
It is.
Yeah. So where are you getting your omnibuses? I mean, who are you using for that?
Amazon.
Okay.
I mean, I could have gone through Barnes and Noble, which I think might have been a little bit cheaper, or I could have gone through Ingram. But it was just so simple to just click that button.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. That's great. Well, we'll put those links and stuff in the show notes, but that's great
and you
information.
Should know, like, if someone does this and they start to get bigger, because I'm selling like two of the omnibuses a day, I can handle that. But if someone starts to sell, like, I have friends who are selling like 100, they're doing individual books. They're selling like 100 of their individual books a day. They found a private printer, and which printed their books for even cheaper, so that increased their profit margin.
Wow.
So, so there's people out there.
So there's ways to do this that you can make it cost effective for the print books, which is great. So okay, so we've kind of gone down a little rabbit trail with direct sales, so I guess we should come back to our main questions. But that was fun, thanks. So what's the biggest change you've had to make in your thinking or your mindset? This could be like in the last couple of years, or over your whole career, whichever one you'd like to talk about.
In the last week, if you're like me.
So over the last 2 years, I invested heavily in my business. I invested in doing German, which paid off. I invested in doing the direct, which paid off. And then I realized, I should probably invest in me. So last year, I have been investing in me. I've been investing in a lot of self-care. I've been going on not only just self-care with like massages and I had a salt scrub, full body salt scrub. It was the best thing ever. I was on a cruise at the time, and I walked around telling perfect strangers, touch my skin. My daughter was so embarrassed, but that was so soft and smooth. I highly recommend it. But things like that. Writing is so solitary, and again, what we all just went through over the last couple of years. I've started going on writing retreats, and I try to go on one every other month. I was just spoiling myself. Yes. Either one's planned privately with friends, or one's planned. I know you guys just had Becca Mysore on not too long ago. She does these amazing,
yes, she does,
writing retreats. Oh my gosh! When you see her post to sign up. It will just refill your well. And then she's so freaking smart. Because with it, she also gives you her plot theory services. She gives you 1 to 2 hours of her time, and you can sit there and talk about your stories, talk about what you're about to plot, talk about your business. And I promise you, whatever she tells you will multiply your business time 1,000,000. So, yeah. And so I did that. I hired a stylist, and I learned to properly do my makeup and what my colors were. What my colors were for like eyeshadow and lip gloss, but also what my colors were for like clothing and wardrobe. So I had a whole new wardrobe makeover.
That's great.
Yes,
that is so fun.
I totally invested so much. So I invested in a personal trainer, and I've dropped a lot of weight from us sitting around in the house all the time. Right. And I hired a dating coach. Hasn't us gone on a date yet? No, but I hired a coach.
But you're getting ready to.
Exactly. I'm preparing.
Oh, that's
great.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so, I love that. I love it.
I think that's great. And I think that's like a goal that so many writers have, is to make more time to take care of themselves. So how did you how did you do all this? Like, how did you get it in do you schedule it in?
Of course it's scheduled.
Of course she does.
And mostly in pink, because I learned that my color is plum. I'm a brown woman, and plum is my color. But the stylist was 1000% right. So I'm really, one of the things about my number one discipline is that I'm really good at compartmentalizing. So like I said, I get up every day with my writing partner, and we write from like 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. and I get my words out and I get my words done. And then I take a break, and then I come back and I'm doing lunch. But what Becca Syme told me that I'm really good at is, as I can shift things around on my plate. Like my plate, it's the same size as everyone's, but I shrink the things on the plate, because I try to master them and I try to get a procedure going. And so once I've done that, then I look down at my plate and I'm like, oh, I've got space. Let me fill it.
So maybe fill some of that space with self-care sometimes, right?
Exactly. That is exactly what I did.
That's great. That's great. Well, we talked about direct sales, but has your business model changed recently, or are you still doing what you were doing 2 years ago? My
business model 2 years ago, especially for my Ines pen name, Ines does whatever she wants, because that is my joy, to just write whatever comes into my mind and my heart. But Shanae was very regimented. Shanae was either one book a month or one book every other month. Period. Always the exact same kind of book. Sweet military romance. Sweet military romance set on a ranch. That's what Shanae wrote, and that works. But one of the things that I'm great at, but that I also see as a weakness, is I come from television, so I understand like series. I understand syndication. I know that once a product is out there, you can keep selling it forever and forever and forever. So I was so focused, and I have continued to be so focused on my backlist that I don't focus as much on my front list. Like I could have a release and not even remember that I had the release, because I have a process. I write the book, I set everything up, I set up all the promo, I set up everything up, and then I'm on to the next book. And I'm realizing that that's not really giving that book its justice, and I need to. So I'm changing.
You're not giving that book enough love.
I am not. I'm not giving that book the self-love and attention that it deserves. So I'm in the process of trying to just stop and focus. I don't like the word stop. To slow down and smell the roses with that book, and to give it its just due. Because in my head, I always know, like, that book is out. Great. I know that when the first 3 books, or when all 6 books are out, I know that book is going to go bang. But it only goes bang because that's when I give it attention. I'm trying to stop and give it the attention when it comes out.
Oh, that's great. That's such an interest. That's so interesting, because I'm big on the launch. Like, I'm big on launch, and I keep pushing that book for a long time. That new release for a long time. And of course, now, because I'm not releasing, I am focusing on my backlist more. But that is just so interesting that you're giving it more love now. I love that.
Yeah, because again, I have a process for the backlist. I have my 52, this is Sky Warren's 52-week strategy. I have a 52-week strategy where there's some type of promotion going on every single week. I have strategies like that for the backlist, but I did not have any strategies like that for the
You should have got together with Jamie. She's got a ton of launch strategies. But it sounds like you're doing good.
Yeah.
So how do you view mistakes, and how do you recover when things go wrong?
I have to catch myself a lot of times, because I don't view mistakes as bad things. Like, I will go into something knowing, like, this might be a mistake, but let's see, let's find out, let's touch the fire.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't. Why are you hesitating? Let's go in. What if I make a mistake? Because in my mind, if I make a mistake, the mistake is going to teach me something. But that's the only time a mistake is bad, when it doesn't teach you something, when you can't glean the lesson from it.
Right.
But I prepare as much as I possibly can, and then I charge forward. And as I'm charging forward, my eyes are open and I'm paying attention, and I'm looking at what's going on around me, and I'm shifting. I'm gonna blame this on my career in television as well. My first job in television was being a production coordinator. First thing that they tell you, we're going to make a plan. We made a very detailed plan. And then we were told, sit back and wait for something to go wrong and then fix it. So that's my foundation of make a plan, plan the best you can, and then stand by with the fire extinguisher.
Yeah.
Sounds like it's a good system.
Right? So that's how I look at it, is I look at mistakes, they're guideposts for me. They're like little gifts. If they're gifts, if they give you the information. So I take information and then I just keep going.
I love that. That's so great. And because a lot of us do not have that thinking. I am a little bit of let's touch the fire and see what happens. But I do, I found when I was making more money and being a little more successful that I was more that way. As you know, I am less likely to touch the fire at this moment because I feel like everything's balancing on a pinhead and stuff. So yeah, I think it's great when you can get to the point where you just do that. And you probably were doing that before you were super successful. So I think that's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. She kind of shrugged. Yes, she does. So let's talk about the thing you're doing right now, besides your books and everything else. You have created a pacing course.
I did.
And you let Sarah and I kick the tires, you said. I love that. And it is awesome. Can you tell us why you decided to do the pacing course and create that right now?
Well, first, I need to stop saying never, because people kept asking me to. No, I'm talking to you. I'm giving you all the information out of my mouth for free right now. Why do you want me to write it down? That sounds like work. So I would be teaching at things like InkersCon, where I met you guys, and NINC, and I would have this wonderful presentation where I explain everything, and then I get off the stage and people are like, "Yay! When's the book coming out?"
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I know.
I'm writing a nonfiction book. So never say never. But I did. I made this course. This comes from my time learning television techniques, working in television. And again, back to my friend Leslie. We went to school together. She was a film major. I was a TV major. We were in the exact same building. But she and I and our friends in film school, we just had this language that of how we would talk about stories. And sometimes, like when Leslie and I were at conferences together, or we're just in a group of other writer friends, we would start talking this lingo. We were talking about, oh yeah, I saw how there was the novice in that story. Or did you see how they saved the cat? I really enjoyed the way they saved the cat. Or, oh my gosh, they had an unreliable narrator. Can you believe the technique that they use? And people will be looking at us like, what are these two chicks going on about? And I didn't, but I feel like in indie, especially indie romance, a lot of the writers, especially the successful writers, were readers. Readers that came up and they started to tell the stories that Trad had stopped telling because Trad said those stories were dead. Yeah. So a lot of these folks know the genre, but they don't necessarily speak the lingo. And I'm trying to have conversations, but I have to go back on the conversation and explain a specific story technique or a craft technique. And really, this kind of came out of me having to constantly explain techniques, right?
Right.
So I started to, I realized I had all this content from when I was teaching, from my notes from when I was in the writer's room, to these presentations that I had been doing over the past few years. And I said, you know what? This is not going to take you a long time to put this together and then just put it out there for people. So I did. I put it all together. And I put it out, and it's had an amazing, I haven't really been promoting it. I just kind of said on my Facebook page, hey guys, I did this thing. And people signed up, and people have been using it, and it's been helping people. And that feels so good. But that wasn't your question. Your question is, what have you done? And so with screenwriting, one of the ways that I was taught screenwriting was to sit down and watch TV and films and break them down, not just in my mind. I was had a pen and paper, and I had to break this down and explain the structure. And that was the best thing that I learned about TV. That was the best thing and film. I learned that in the classroom. That's what they were doing in the writer's room. And my brain is just trained to do that. If you tell me a story, if I read a story, if I watch a story, my brain automatically starts to break it down to the pacing points. And because I was in television, I saw that there was, in my brain, it's like there's 12 pacing points, because usually there's about anywhere from 4 to 8 acts in a television show. And in television, the acts are defined by where you break for the commercial. So I could see these pacing points that happen every time in an hour-long drama. And I knew from my training in TV that there's tactics that we need to have to keep people in film as well, tactics that we need to have to keep people in their seats for the first few minutes. But because in film, you get 15 minutes. This is kind of unofficial, but you get 15 minutes before you can get your money back for the ticket. So you have to keep them in their seat for their first 15 minutes, right? And the same thing with TV. You have a few minutes, you have about 6 to 8 minutes before that first commercial break. So there was tactics that you had to have of creating empathy, of introducing the hero's goal, of saving the cat. There were tactics to keep you in your seat when the commercial break hit. Things I call them buttons, but in TV they call leads, hooks, and sequels to keep you there wondering on a question, on an interruption, on ellipses where it kind of leads you to know something else is about to come, but you have to wait that 2.5 minutes for the commercial break. So I knew all this stuff, and I've been using all this stuff in my novel writing. In my chapters, I always have a button at the end of my chapter. When I'm introduced, with the first chapter, I might use a novice to explain the world, and so I'm not info dumping and telling a whole bunch of backstory. So I use the tactics and the techniques that are inherent in television writing to keep the pages turning of someone reading my novel. And that is basically what the course Page Turner Pacing is. It's me trying to explain, me showing you first how to see this, how to build that muscle, that pacing muscle, because regardless of whether you're a pantser or you're a plotter, pacing is universal, and we all instinctively know it. We just don't all have a common language to say, oh, they just had a moment of growth. Oh, they just had a moment. That was their dark moment right there. This stuff keeps happening over and over again. You have to introduce your hero or heroine. They have to have a goal, because there's some reason that we're following them. They have to have something thrown in their way. Then there's going to be a moment of growth, a moment to regroup. This always happens. It has to happen in order for the story to progress. And that's not necessarily pants or plot. That's just how the story has to progress in order for the viewers to have enjoyment. And again, that's what the course is all about, is showing you how to identify this, and then showing you how to use it in your novel. You do not have to outline if you don't want to. You just want to start recognizing these patterns over and over again, so that when you sit down to write, you automatically know what needs to come next.
That's great. Love it.
I love it too. And I think that there's a lot of that we subconsciously may recognize, like if you're big, like I love mystery TV shows, so I watch lots of them. And so like you'll start seeing them and you're like, oh yeah, but it's very helpful to have you walk us through it very intentionally, instead of casually. I'm more the casual, oh yeah, that was blah, blah, but I caught 10%, but missed 90. So
that's the word, that's really intentional. Good. I think you hit on it right there, Sarah, is that word intentional. And I think when you take the time and you sit down and watch television, not necessarily just for enjoyment, but to say, how did they do that? It's the same when you buy a new car and then all of a sudden you see that make and model everywhere.
That's true.
It's true. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So when someone explains to you what that confrontation moment looks like, that's in every television show, then you sit back and you think, oh, they're having a confrontation moment right now. Look at how they're doing this, right? Or if someone explains to you what an open door is in television, then you can see, oh, look at what they're doing. They're leading us on. They're making us want to watch next week by not answering all the questions. So it becomes intentional. Pacing becomes intentional when you sit down and you study it.
Yeah, that's very true. So if someone is like a new author or even an established author and they want to get better at pacing, what's the most important thing that authors need to know about pacing?
I don't know about knowing about it. I think, I take that back. So I think a lot of people get really nervous about the idea of things, about patterns, about things being formulaic. Like formulaic is a bad thing. And I don't think that it is. It's guideposts. Formula are guideposts, and they're there because they've been tested. They're there because you've seen things go wrong and people not like it and people not come back to that show, or that show getting canceled, or that book doing poorly because it messed up the formula, or it intentionally was like, I'm going to come up with a brand new formula, and it doesn't work. I like a formula because a formula will teach you how to move forward. But a formula will, as it's teaching you the rules, the formula will also teach you, a good formula will teach you why. Because if you know the why, then you know how to successfully subvert the rule. So I like a formula. I like formula. TV is a $1 billion formula of keeping people glued to their seats and now binge watching, where they will watch hours and hours of television because you are following the formula to keep them there. So I think the first thing that a newbie writer and a seasoned writer alike should know is that formulas are a good thing. Patterns are a good thing. Mastering them is a good thing. If you try to do something too different, there is no guarantee that people are going to like it, because human beings, we like to know, oh, look, that red berry has pits on it. I think that's a strawberry. That follows the pattern of a strawberry, as opposed to something else that's red that could be poisonous. We like patterns. We like knowing. We like that feeling of security and safety. And I think that that's what a successful television show does, is it gives you those guideposts and those guide rails, and then it gets you to come back again and again and again.
Right. Yeah. I agree. And I think, I've said this before, you can do something unique and different. You can go out on a limb and do that, but you may find yourself alone on that limb with no readers because it's readers have, especially the kind of readers we're looking for, they read a lot.
Yeah.
They don't necessarily have a ton of time to go experimenting. And so they want to read what they want to read, and they want to get that dopamine hit that they get when they read a certain kind of book. Good, bad, or otherwise, that's how it is. So,
1000% right.
Yeah.
So, I say patterns, formulas, they save lives.
Yeah. That's funny. So, what do you wish you had known about pacing way back in the beginning?
I don't know. I feel like I've always known this. Because with my generation, our generation, we were sat down in front of the TV.
Yeah.
And so we learned this stuff at an early age. It was, again, it was our comfort. It was our place of solace. It was our place of entertainment. So we knew this stuff. We didn't have the terminology, the phrasing for it. We didn't know how to use it, maybe. So I just know that I knew this, but now I know how to use it.
You know how to wield it. Your benefit. Yeah.
So I think what you're doing is very similar to what Becca Syme's doing with strengths. Like, she's giving us a way to identify things and name things. And so maybe like we instinctively know we need this type of character, but like you're giving us, hey, this is a novice. And if you do this, and it's for some reason, it helps me to be able to name things and make them repeatable, so I think that's a good advantage to
also
learning all this stuff.
Also, when you name things, then you have a common language to share with another person.
Yes.
You can go and ask for help, and you can be, the help becomes better because with that shared language, you can be able to attack problems, or you can see solutions or things that really work. You with that shared language, that becomes more clear.
Very true. Yeah. So you're also doing a podcast. Tell us how that's going and why you're doing the podcast in addition to the course, and what the name of the podcast is.
I am having so much fun. The podcast is called Ines Johnson is Having a Breakdown. So many reasons.
Love it.
Because like I said at the beginning, this is how this whole year, like I think the rest of my life is going to be about decreasing my anxiety. But also, this is what I did in television. One of my first jobs as a producer, was breaking down scripts.
Yeah.
And breaking down structures for screenwriting. Mm-hmm. And I did that. I taught screenwriting and producing for 15 years. And guys, I thought I was burned out of teaching. Mm-hmm. And I realized, but I was constantly talking about this stuff, talking people's ear off about this stuff because I like explaining this stuff. I love doing deep dives. You were definitely my friend if you want to geek out over a pilot episode of a show and why it worked or why it didn't work. I would talk your ear off. Right. But what I realized is that what I was burned out of in teaching was the evaluating part of it. I don't want to evaluate anybody else's work. I don't want to do any grading. So this just lets me doing the show, Ines Johnson is having a breakdown. It just lets me talk about these things that I love talking about and geeking out about. So the podcast, they're very short episodes. They are, and in them, I explain things like one of the episodes is explaining what the novice is. The novice is someone, this happens in books, movies, and television shows, but the novice is a person that you can bring on there because they're new, just like you, the reader, is new. And that novice can start to ask questions. And they're asking the questions that you, the reader, would ask and want to know. But because you're telling it to someone, it's not info dumping. It's asking the questions you need to know. So I come on and I explain what that is. I give examples using television shows because, again, television, we don't have a lot of time. And television shows are short. So I can show you where it is in a television show and point you in the direction and tell you to go look at it. And then I can give you practical tips of how to put that into your current work in progress. And so that's basically what the show is I just go on and each week I talk about a specific technique or a specific pacing point, explain it, give you an example, and show you what to do in under 10 minutes.
That's great.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And you can find that wherever we found our podcast, correct?
You absolutely can. Yeah. Okay, or you can go to ineswrites.com/breakdown and all the podcatchers are there.
That's great. Well, just circling back real quick to the pacing course. And in your course, you have bonus material and you have things like pace for marketing, pace for your launch, pace your backlist, pace your promo. I mean, all of those things. So is it the same technique with all of that stuff, or are the techniques different?
So the Pace Turner pacing course, so I designed that initially just to teach people how to break down a television show to then use those methods in their books. That's what I initially did. And then I thought to myself, well, I don't want to leave people on a limb. They've written this amazing book now.
Yeah.
I should show them how to market it using these techniques. So in there, the same way that I think about so one of the things that Pace Turner pacing does is I write fast, and I write fast because I come from television. So, and I tell you in the course, my first draft looks like a script because that's how I was trained. And then I go back and I make it look like a book. But I can write a book in 21 days, and I show you exactly how I do that, taking you on day 1, day 2, all the way down to day 21. And so with the marketing, I do something similar where I show you how, okay, you've written this book. Now, the first thing that you want to do when you're marketing is, as in my opinion, you want to either recoup the budget that you spent to produce this book, or you want to be thinking about, I need to make this amount of money to pay my car note or to pay my mortgage or to supplement my retirement income. I think you should have a goal for whatever the book is supposed to do for you. So I do that. And then all of the marketing tactics that I give you in there, we spread it over a certain amount of time. Like some people like to have this done their release is done in the first 30 days. So we talk about spreading this over 30 days, or we talk about spreading it over 90 days. So you pace your marketing by thinking about what you can do to hit the goal. Like if you wanted to make $100, then we talk about you need to sell X amount of books in this amount in 30 days. This is what you need. These are some of the marketing tactics that you can do. So it's trying to show you to think about it structurally, procedurally, so that you can hit that goal.
Right. All with a goal.
Always with a goal.
Yeah.
I know Becca says that Becca Symes says not everybody is goal oriented, but I don't understand that.
So just pretend for a little while. If you're not, just
you're
pretend.
like me. Yeah. That's great. I love it.
Good.
Yeah.
If you had to start over today, would you do anything differently, or what would you do differently if you would do something?
So I would I'm tongue-tied because I'm like, I'm questioning myself as I'm even thinking this. So I give the advice that when you start out, that you should really be thinking about your audience. And if you have a sweet romance audience, you should have a sweet romance pen name. If you have a steamy romance audience, you should have a steamy pen name. Think about audience. If your audience is not going to cross over, then you should think about having a new pen name. And I have lived by that, and I have died by that, and I'm born by that again. So if you look at Ines Johnson, she is structured. She is the sweet military romance, period. If you look at Ines, it's a hodgepodge. And yeah. So and it's because sometimes the muse wants what the muse wants. And I came up with a really great idea to write, because my small town military romances the sweet ones were doing so well. Yeah. And people started asking me, like, why didn't they steamy? I was like, what? Yeah, wait a minute. What? Yeah. So I was like, I can do this. I can make these steamy, completely different stories, but steamy small town romance with military heroes. They wouldn't fit under an S. Because Ines, even though Ines is a hodgepodge, it would be just more of a hodgepodge. I'd be just making a bigger mess. So I got bullied into creating another pen name, which I know is the right thing to do, but it's so much work.
Yeah,
it's so much work. Yeah. So yeah.
So you would keep them all together, or you would still?
That's what I would want to do, but I know. So I'm hesitating because I know that's the wrong thing to do.
Yeah.
The wrong thing to do. I'm doing the right thing, but I'm crying about it.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
It's like, oh my goodness, why do I do it this way? Because it's the best way, but it's still a lot of work.
Still tricky. Yeah.
It's very tricky. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's been great to have you back. I love talking on all things pacing, and love the direct sales thing. It's something I'm looking at. And so I just have loved this so much today. But tell people where they can find you, about your books, about your course, all things Ines Johnson, Ines Johnson, all those things.
So Ines, you can find Ines at InesWrites.com. You can find Ines at SineJohnson.com. If you want to take the course, it's InesWrites.com/PTP for page turner pacing. And I have 2 free videos up there so that you can see if my teaching style is your cup of tea. But also, I really encourage everyone to listen to the podcast, which is Ines. You can find that at InesWrites.com/breakdown. That's free, and I'm giving away free information. But you'll also notice if you listen to that podcast that I like to come and do watch parties using the app Teleparty, where I can just geek out with other authors as we look at television shows and we break them down together. That has just been the most fun thing ever.
Love that.
That is awesome. Yeah. Well, we will have all those notes at wishidknownthenpodcast.com. And thanks for being here. Thanks for listening today. And we'll see everybody next week. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks for listening, and we hope you enjoyed the show. If you would like to support our podcast, you can find the link to do so at wishidknownmenforwriters.com/support. See you again next week.